What's up, everybody? This is version 99, and today we're going to be looking at the in-space interface. I'll end out here and get that underway. Okay. As you can see, there's our Gila. A lot of this does not change, on this side at least. Now we do have some new items here, and over here. So we'll get started. First off, you have the overview. This is a customizable table that can list all manner of things in a star system. You can set up different tabs with different settings. And me personally, I run a certain overview pack, and there are a few of them out there. They're just basic XML files. They're really easy to get, and you'll want to use those to improve the efficiency of your overview. You can show all the brackets. You can add more tabs. You can have, I believe, up to 7 tabs. So you can go to different modes, one for travel, one to look at certain things, certain types of ships. You can also get very specific about what data you want to see, what you want to take precedence, all kinds of stuff. You can do 8 overview tabs. I only do 5 because I only really need 5. Your overview will probably only start with 1, but you can click this little button here to add more. So it's pretty involved. I just use an overview pack. Like I said, if you look, if you search on Google, you can usually just search out Eve Online Overview Pack, and you'll see a few different options. We have the Selected Items window. This is a context to what you select in your overview, and the buttons will change. As you can see, we've got Align, which will point the ship in the direction of an item. We have Warp, so you'll activate your warp drives and go there. We'll say we'll align to this space station. As you can see, the ship just turns itself. You can just hit warp. Once you're fully aligned, the ship will enter warp. This is used to cross intrastellar distances within the same star system. As you can see, the measurement that's used is AU, that's astronomical units. Systems can be up to 300 AU wide. The largest one is over 300 AU wide. As you can see, once you get close to the station, you'll slow down. This third option is context sensitive. If you're at a station, for example, it says dock. Choose a Stargate, it'll choose jump, which will make you, for example, hit jump. You'll automatically align to something. when your lines are warp. And when we get within range, we will automatically jump Stargate. You can also, for example, see where the star is located. A common mantra in Eve is 1v1 me at the sun. Now you know where the sun is. Make that stop, because we don't want to jump just yet. As you can see, we've got blue ships. These are NPCs. These are actually customs officers. If you try and haul contraband through these star systems, they will warp scramble you and make you pay a fine and take your stuff. Jump to the next star system. You see these little items. As you can see, there's a player and a condor. As you can see, there's a few. This is a citadel. Go ahead to it. And these are player-built space stations. They're fairly new. They're still a lot of kinks out. They're vulnerable. They get good bonuses and stuff for their station services if you fit them properly. But they cost a lot of money and they can be destroyed. So I tend to ignore them. You can, if you have more money, if you have a lot of money, you can build that. That's actually the smaller one too. That's just the Astra House. The citadels themselves get bigger, but as you can see, because I'm close to it, they're tethering, so I should be fairly safe just sitting here. If you have damaged components or modules, the station can also repair you from the outside as well. Then we have the squares, which are standard NPC stations. This is where the bulk of your stuff's going to be. Missions, agents. They can't be destroyed, so they're safe to put stuff in. There's always a risk of these player-built structures being destroyed. That's something you gotta look out for. Now, on ships that are equipped with them, we have this interface. This is the drone bay. Now, I'm in a drone. This is a drone ship, so we can use drones. And these little guys, they go after fast-moving targets. Some races, especially the Galente, to a lesser degree the Amar, and the Garista pirates, they all love drones. And if you get enough skill in them, they can be very effective weapon systems. So something to keep in mind. Now The skills you'll be able to get are fairly limited for drones as an alpha clone, but with the right racial choice you can actually get some fairly decent damage done in the right ships. Then we've got the ship readout. Here's where things get a little complicated. So we'll start on this side of the circle. This is all the modules that are fit on your ship. Some of them are passive. They just sit there, as you can see, like this shield extender. All it does is give you more shield HP. That's it. Some modules are active, like these shield hardeners. You click them, they burn capacitor, which is illustrated here as the ship's power, and they increase. For example, these increase the resistances of the shields. These items here amplify damage for missiles and drones, which is what this ship's main weapons are, as you can see, and of course the missiles are up here on the top. You can see the little green, icon. That means that the item can be overloaded, which means it'll confer a benefit, but it comes in at a cost. Over time, as you overheat a module, eventually it will take damage and slowly be destroyed. The bonus depends on what the item is. For example, these shield hardeners will be more effective when they're overloaded. Missile launchers and weapons will fire faster. Things of that sort. Afterburners will burn harder. As you can see, it's 603. As you can see, with an afterburner, we overload, it goes to 783, so about a 15 to 20% increase in efficiency. But once an item is burnt out, you'll have to go to a station and get it repaired, or you'll have to use a nanite repair paste, which is very, very expensive. So you want to try and avoid that. Then we have the options, the configurations. You can choose, you can choose to not see the numerical readout. I prefer to see the readout as a number. You can choose to turn off passive modules, so you can unclutter some of this. Make this a little easier. You have group all weapons. This will auto group your weapons as long as they're the same type together. Or if you want to make multiple groups yourself, you can press Shift, click and drag. And just regular click and drag to move. So you can do this to sort your weapons your own way. Of course, you can move these up here, down there. You just have to remember which side they're on. Then you have the option to overload all. So you click one button like there, you just overloaded all your high slots, all your mids, and then if there was anything in the lows that could be overheated, I could overheat that too. Passive modules cannot be overheated. Only active modules can be overheated. So that covers this side of the wheel. We've got the wheel itself. A lot of stuff in here. First and foremost, this is your health. You can see there are 3 layers: shield, armor, hull. The ship has a lot of shield hit points because it is a shield tanking ship. Not all ships tank in the shield layer. Some ships tank in the armor layer. And if you're feeling particularly suicidal, you can try and tank in the structure layer, though I strongly recommend against that. Structure tends to have very low resistances naturally, and unless you fit a damage control system, there's not a lot of resistance you can do with structure. Of course, we have the capacitor wheel. This will vary depending on the size of your ship. Some items are more demanding on capacitor than others. For example, the Amar race use laser weapons heavily, which rely heavily on capacitor. Also, any self-repairing modules you have equipped, most of them use capacitor. And a lot of weapons, like I said, lasers, blasters, of course the shield hardeners, using the warp drive, the afterburner, they all use capacitor. Anything that burns energy uses capacitor in the active modules. And we have current speed. You can hit the plus to go to full speed. You can click in the arc to set a specific speed, or you can hit minus or control space to go to full stop. Then we've got the side panel here. First off, we've got the cargo bay. This just opens up the local inventory. As you can see, I've got some microprocessors from the Serpentis event. That gives you an idea of how long I haven't been flying this ship. Got the tactical overlay. This will show you the grid of your missiles, how effective they are. As you can see there, highlight is my missile range. This dotted line, this is my drone control range for my drones. You can also, if there's another, see this blue line, that's your direction. Any enemy or other person that shows up on the marker, you'll see it. You can also get a line indicating their targeted track. Then we have scanners, a probe scanner, which will cover in exploration, moon analysis, which most players don't use. It's used to analyze the composition of moons for moon mining, and the directional scan. This allows you to narrow in on what's in a certain direction, for example. We can scan an area, see what we can find. There's a Brutix out that way. And a miasmos. And as you reference different spots in the solar system, you can determine what's around. Me personally, I don't use directional scan all too much in high security, but it's really big in wormholes especially. Let's see, we've got, of course, the first-person camera. You can also do a little bit of manual piloting here. Left, right, up, down. Most people just don't because we're just so used to doing it the other way. Tactical view, which is the one I prefer. Orbit camera, which is like, I prefer tactical. Then we have the autopilot button. This button, never push. You should never ever push the autopilot button, and I'm going to explain to you why. First, we're going to set a destination. Now I have a bookmark. Now when you reference a system, an easy way to do that is just click A and then type a system name. Say Vegeta. You can search. As you can see, you can reference a specific station or just the star system itself. When you find what you're looking for, right click and hit Set Destination. And as you can see, the individual jumps show up here on the list, color-coded for the security level of the system. You'll notice the first jump, it says Kurama. You'll see it here in yellow. Now ideally, at this point, you've set your destination. The system can tell you where to go, jump by jump. So you just click that, and you just hit jump, and your ship will align, warp to 0, and jump. In the next system, you do the same thing. Repeat until you get to the system of choice. Some people are like, oh, well, I can just set autopilot. I'm going to demonstrate why you don't autopilot.
Autopilot engaged.
Now we set a destination, we press the autopilot button.
Warping to Stargate.
As you can see, it's figured out what we need to do. And we're warping to the proper Stargate. Now, a lot of people would be tempted to just set the autopilot somewhere, hit the A key, and walk away. And I'm about to show you why you don't do that. Because everything's looking normal, right? You're warping in, slowing down. See, the gate is 15 kilometers away. And now our ship is slowly moving to the gate. And mind you, I'm doing this in a cruiser, so I'm not the fastest ship doing it, but I'm also not the slowest. Meanwhile, you're just sitting here, vulnerable, presumably away from the keyboard, and all manner of people could be plotting all manner of things to separate you from your ship that you're autopiloting. And you're none the wiser. So,
Autopilot disabled.
repeat that cycle numerous times, and odds are you're going to get somewhere where somebody's going to be waiting to blow you up. because Concord will guarantee that they lose their ship when they blow you up. But that doesn't mean they're not going to kill you first. And then they'll have someone else come and scoop the wreckage. It's called suicide ganking, and it's how some people make money. They wait for some whale to come along who's got a high value. They take a cheap ship and they blow you up. And then whatever they scoop out as loot, they keep as profit. So never, ever use autopilot. There's only one time I use autopilot, and that's if I'm moving rookie ships with characters with empty heads, where I have, there's nothing at stake. I'm just moving a character. They tend not to mess with noob ships, especially if you're not hauling anything. But that should do it for that episode. It's pretty cut and dry. Never ever use autopilot, especially in the beginning, because you have so little in value, and if you do lose something, it's pretty disastrous. For me, if I lose a Tech 1 Industrial, even if it has nothing in it, it's not a big deal. You finish up your newbie mission, your new player missions, you only have 2 Industrials. You lose one, that's kind of a big deal. Hopefully that'll help you be prepared and aware when you're out there. I'm Urgent99, and I'll see you next time.